Hi everyone, it's Straight and One. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to make this stylish pinafore top. If that sounds like something you would like to learn, do well to watch this video to the end. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. With that being said, let's begin. You can actually drag this particular top on your fabric directly, but I'll be drafting my own on pattern paper just for the purpose of this tutorial. So I folded my fabric into four. Sorry, so when you're cutting yours, make sure to fold your fabric into four. I'll come here and draw my starting line. So that will be our starting point for all our measurements. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. So from this end, I'll mark my 7.5, which is here. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch. So I'll go in by my neck width. I'll be using 3.5 because there's no zipper in this screw, so I just have to make sure my neckline is wide enough to, so my head will be able to pass freely. So I'm using 3.5 for the neck width. If you're on a bigger size, you can use 4 inches or 4.5. So I'm using 3.5 for mine. Then the neck depth, because this fabric is folded into 4, that means we are cutting both the back and the front pattern together. So I'll first mark down the back neckline. So I'm using the neck wideness of 3.5, that is for both the front and the back, but the neck depth is going to be different. So the neck depth for the back, I'll be using 1.5. so I'll connect that this way. For my neck depth at the front, I'll be using 4.5 so that this can pass through my neck freely. So I'll be using 4.5. Then I'll connect it from that wideness, from that width, same neck width. You can see what I'm doing. So after that, I'll be connecting this, my shoulder slope, back to my neck point. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to determine the length of this top. You can use any length depending on what you want. It's totally based on your own preference. I'll be using my half length, which is 16 inches. Then I will add 1 inch to that, so when we tie it, it's not going to be looking short. When we tie, it's not going to look short. So I'll be adding 1 inch to that, my half length, making it 17 inches. So this is the length I'll be using, 17 inches for the top length. Then I'll be adding 2 inches for the hemming allowance. I hope you understand. Just watch the video carefully and do exactly what I'm doing, and you'll have the result you expect. Okay, so after that, I'll just connect this way. This top is very simple. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect from my shoulder. You can see we are not using any measurements. We are using our shoulder measurement for the wideness, like for the wideness of the body. Normally we used to measure our horizontal measure, that is our round body measurement, but this one we don't need it. We're just going to use our shoulder measurement for this. So I'll just go ahead just to get the straight line. I'm measuring my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. I just want to make sure I have the complete and correct measurement. So I'll just connect that this way, all the way. Next thing we're going to do now is to cut this out. So you cut it out this way. You cut it out this way. So we are cutting off the back neckline first. So you just go in this way. And you cut off the shoulder slope. This way. When you're cutting this pattern on your fabric, make sure to add 1/2 inch on your shoulder. I forgot to add mine, I just cut it off. Make sure to add 1/2 inch on your shoulder when you're cutting it on your fabric. So after that, remember I cut off the back neckline first, so I'll just open this up and take out one of these. You can see we cut both the front and the back. So this is going to be our back pattern. This is the back. So I'm taking that out. Then I'll go ahead and cut off the neckline for the front. This is a very simple top. So the next thing you're going to do is to just cut the band. So I'll be using this as a band. You cut 4 pieces of the band. You know, you cut a band of 2.5 inches wide. When you're cutting the band, make sure you cut 4 of it, because you're going to be using one on this side, one on this side of the front, then the other one on this side of the back, and one on this side of the back, making it 4 ropes. You know, you need to cut 4 of those bands, like 4 of them, and each of them should be 2.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to illustrate it by using this paper so you understand what I'm trying to say. So you see, so the length depends on how long you want it to be. You can make it 25 inches, you can make it 20 inches, you know, it just depends on how long you want the rope. But I think it should just be 25 inches or 30 inches, depends on how long you want it. So just make sure the wideness of your band is 2.5 inches wide. So make sure to cut it into 4. You know, I'm just cutting this paper to illustrate, to just show you what I'm saying. Make sure to cut your own longer than mine. And also it should be 2.5 inches wide. Mine is not really up to 2.5. It's not up to 2.5. So make sure the wideness of your band is 2.5. And you know, when you're cutting your own band, you have to fold your band into 2 this way when you are cutting it. I hope you understand. So this is 4 pieces. You're going to cut something like this. So you're just going to place it at the end of this top this way, and you place the other one. Hope you can see. So this is the front. You just come here, place it this way. So you sew it this way. Before you sew, you have to make sure you fold the rough edge, you know, this edge. You make sure you fold it. So you sew it this way and sew the other end. The same thing you do on this other side too. So this is how it's going to look. I'm using this paper to illustrate it. So this is the front pattern. You do it this way. The same way you place it on the front pattern, is exactly how you do it on the back pattern. So you open it up. You also place your rope and you sew it and sew it. So that's all. Make sure to fold the ends too. You can always fold this part. If you want to turn it with lining, you can always do it. So that's it for this. You know, when you join it, you join your shoulder and you join this other shoulder. It is very simple. This is all for this pattern. Thank you so much for watching. And if if you've learned something from this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you have any question, do well to drop it in the comment section. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be first to be notified. See you in my next video.